Can you go into the relationship between non-dual awareness and the brain? I hear all the time that this is not a mental act, but it seems like there are effects on the brain and on the character when enlightenment happens. It also seems like certain drugs can induce non-dual insights temporarily. If that's true, why do people always say that it isn't an event and you can't make it happen when it seems like the opposite is true? I know, Jack. I don't have all the answers to this. I just have my opinions. I feel like what happens when you take certain hallucinogenic drugs, which I do not recommend to anybody because that would get me into serious trouble, that unless it's legal in your country, that when you take hallucinogenic drugs, it breaks the attachment to the seeking and to this idea of you. And so then through breaking that attachment, there is a seeing of something that's beyond you. Yeah. So it does seem in one way connected to the brain. And maybe one day scientists really explore it and find an area in the brain. But my opinion on it in this very moment, which is up for changing and will, so if you watch a video from 5 years ago, I'll have a different opinion because I evolve on opinions, is that, you know, scientists haven't even really got a sense of what mental illness is. Now, if you really study prescription drugs and what they believe is happening in the brain, there is so many don't knows. They have ideas about things, but it's not proven. And they don't even know where thoughts are, and they can't even find thoughts. Isn't that fascinating? And there's even been instances where people have had transplants and then they have the thoughts of the other person. So it's not necessarily in the brain. So there are so many don't knows about this. And it's really not something you can do. Like, even if it is in the brain or if it's in the body, this switch that stops this seeking or this identification, we don't know where it is and we can't find it, and we can't personally go in there and unswitch it. A lot of teachers claim that you can, but it seems like it's so different for everybody. You know, and you know, go with your flow and what you feel is right for you. But if there was one path, then it would be the $1 million idea if we could find that. But if scientists don't even really know where we think, they don't even really know what mental illness is, and they haven't mapped the whole entire brain, and there are so many mysteries that they don't understand, then how the hell is like a meditation exercise or something that we say going to get you to go into that specific place to undo it? There does seem to be some correlation between questioning this you, which is based on seeking pleasure and avoiding pain, and that's where a lot of the religions come into, but we can't find it. There is a really cool video on YouTube, and I'll try and put it on my website, and maybe I'll try and link it down here, of this guy that studied the brain and thinks that it's about like overriding these pleasure pain areas in the brain, and then you, by going past it, you leave them open or something, and then it kind of dismantles the sense of self. And he did a lot of experiments, scientific experiments, but basically all of this is unknown, and basically I don't know. If I had the answer, I would give it all to you. All I know is that I can speak about non-duality, and there can be a knowing of what's being talked about, and there can be an opening in that. So I know that from my experience and from watching people. That's one thing I know. And then another thing I know is that questioning our boxed in beliefs is really healthy if it's done in a way which isn't about trying to control someone or get someone to follow your group. and to build up a whole cult around you, which I just would like to say I do not do. I try my best not to socialize with people that come to my talks too much, and not to befriend them, and not to have like an inner circle of a group around me, because I know the dangers of it. It's not that I don't want to, like people that come to my talks are so brilliant and open-minded, and I think, wow, you could be such a cool friend. But I know the dangers of that and what it's led to, and I've really studied the mentality of cults and the difficulty of religions and the teacher that's teaching things. And so my best way of doing it is just speaking over the internet and keeping it very separate from my life. Blah, blah, blah. She goes on and on and on, and non-duality is just this. That's it. This moment right here, right now. And go beyond anything I say. Challenge anything I say in your mind. Don't let it become your belief system, your religion. That's not it. I'm just here to open doors in your imagination. That's all I want to do. My philosophical side just wants to do that. My curiosity side, my creative side wants to do that. And then the other side is pointing out the divinity of what you always have been. What have you always been, which is your inherent birthright, which you never lost, which is always here. It's always holding you. It's always embracing you. It will never leave you or abandon you. It's not a thing, a place, an action, an idea. Yes.